Okay, and welcome again to English 3450, Introduction to Old English. This is the third of 3 videos that I've prepared about assessment in this course. In the first video, I described how to find the assessment, how to decide what grade to give you, and how I use these grades to calculate your final grade for the course. In this second video, I talked about the different types of assignments I use and how each is graded. In this video, I will discuss some of the specific assignments for this course. This video is probably the most important of the 3 for students in English 3450. The previous one provides useful context for how the assignments are graded and what I'm looking for. And the first one is really just about how the grades are converted and calculated. As I said in the last video, assessment can be found in the syllabus, which is available at the URL you are seeing on the screen now. Once you are at the class website, there are 2 sections that are relevant for understanding how you will be assessed in this course. In the first video, we looked at the grade scale, which is what I use to convert letter grades to percent and vice versa. And it also contains the qualitative descriptors that I use to ensure my grading is accurate and consistent from year to year and student to student. In this video, we are looking at the specific assignments you will be doing this year. These are found under assessment and again in the class schedule. You get there by clicking on assessment. This is where you were last time too. This year, there are 3 parts to your final grade. Formative assignments, which will be worth 45%, summative assignments, which will also be worth 45%, and badges, which can be worth a maximum of 10%. I described the difference between formative and summative assignments, and I also explained how the badges work in the previous video. If you want more detail, you should watch it, but you can also see things in the syllabus via the links. The short version, though, is that formative assignments are meant to be low-pressure ways for you to test yourself, and summative assignments are the assignments I use to assess how well you've done at the end of the year. Formative assignments are graded on what's essentially a pass-fail system, where if you hand in a reasonable effort, you get 100%. I also usually assign an indicative letter grade to such assignments, but this letter grade has no effect on your final grade in the course. It's there to let you see how you are doing in terms of traditional grading, so you can predict how you might do at the end of the course. Summative grades are the regular traditional letter or percent grades. In summative exercises, your grade for the assignment is the grade you receive. If you get an A- on an essay, then the essay was worth 80%. If you score 56 on a test, your test was a D. If you want to know how I convert from letter grades to percent and back, then look at the first video or click on the grade scale in the syllabus. Badges are used to recognize excellence in any assignment. Each badge is worth either 1.5 or 3% added onto your final grade. They can be assigned to anything in the course that, in our opinion, represents qualitatively outstanding work. There's a whole theory behind them, which you can read about by following the links in the syllabus or by watching the second video, and I'm also happy to answer questions about them. The formative assignments in this course include the following: a poster and a presentation about your poster, 2 pronunciation exercises, attendance and participation, weekly blogs, 3 term tests, and a written assignment. These formative exercises are grouped into 2 types: academic citizenship, which are together worth 10%, and formative exercises, which are worth 35%. Within each type, the different categories have equal weight. So in the academic citizenship type, the poster and presentation is worth the same as the 2 pronunciation exercises, and your overall attendance and participation is worth the same as either of the other 2. All of these are described in the syllabus, either in a note on the page or by links to other pages. But here's some important notes for each category. Posters and presentations. At the end of the year, you will be asked to prepare a single slide using PowerPoint or some other presentation software, and to give a minute or 2 presentation describing what that slide is about. Usually students prepare a slide on their final essay, but you can do other things if you want. The poster and presentation are graded pass-fail, where pass means you did the exercise in good faith. We'll talk about this more as the semester progresses. The pronunciation exercises. After we study how Old English is spoken, you will be asked to prepare a Flipgrid video reading a couple of lines. And then, after a few weeks, we'll ask you to do it again on a different text, and we'll give you feedback on your pronunciation in both cases. Again, as a formative exercise, these will be graded pass-fail, where pass means you did the exercise in good faith. Attendance and participation. We'll keep track of your attendance in the translation sections in this course. There'll probably be about 30 of these in the course of the semester, and we'll grade them out of about 25, meaning you don't need to worry if you miss a class or two. Participation refers to whether or not you're able to translate when called upon. We realize that you won't always be ready to translate in class. Maybe you're nervous or you didn't quite finish your homework as well as you wished, but if you always say you'd like to pass when called upon, then you are letting your fellow students down. We'll track how many times you pass, and if it becomes a problem, we'll let you know. If it's still a problem after that, we'll stop counting you as present when you pass on a translation. Becoming a problem in this case means, let's say, 4 or 5 passes in a row or something similar to that. And we'll warn you before we start marking you absent. And finally, I should also say, if you have a medical excuse or a disability letter that affects how you were called upon in class, we will of course honor that. Please make sure that it's passed on to us. The weekly blog. There's a lot on my site about blogs. Follow the links from the syllabus, but in short, you're expected to write a blog each week. To get full marks, you should post your blog before midnight on Monday each week. You can also post up to 2 more blogs in a given week for extra marks, and each extra blog will be worth half a mark, whereas the first blog, as long as it's posted by Monday at midnight, will be worth a full mark. The basic rule for the blog is that it should be, quote, arguably about the course most of the time, end quote. That means that it doesn't have to be about the course all of the time, but it should be most of the time, arguably. What about the course means is up to you, which is where that arguably comes from. It can be about Old English, or it could be about early medieval history, or modern adaptations, or jokes about the period, or the way the course is taught, or pedagogy in general, prompted by something you thought about the course, or whatever you want. And sometimes it can be about the hockey game or going out with your little brother or little sister. It really doesn't matter. You can post cartoons or links to videos or essays or whatever you want. All we require is a good faith effort. And as with all formative exercises, we'll let you know if we see a problem starting to develop. If we can't come to an agreement after we contact you, only then will we start not giving you 100% for problematic blogs. But know that in 15 years, I've had to warn only 2 students, both of whom actually convinced me that they were okay. And not a single person has ever not received a mark for a blog they posted. There will also be 3 term tests this year. These are similar to what you might think of traditional exams, midterm exams, except that they're formative, which means if you make a good faith effort, you get 100%, regardless of whatever your indicative grade might be. But you'll also get that indicative grade telling how well you did, so that you have a sense of how you're doing in the course. And finally, there's one formative written assignment. This is what we call an unessay, which means that the format and topic are entirely up to you, as long as it's, again, arguably about the course. You can read more about the unessay assignment, which was invented at the U of L, by the way, by following the links in the syllabus, or by looking up the hashtag unessay on Twitter. Your last 2 assignments are summative, a final essay and a final exam. Together, they're worth 45% and they're due at the end of term. The essay is straightforward. You're to write a research paper on a topic having to do with early medieval England that is at a level and a length suitable for a 3rd-year course, say about 4,000 words, give or take 10 to 15%. If you want, you can do something else, a creative project perhaps, or an extended translation from Old English into Modern English, or the other way around. But if you decide to do that, you must ask my permission before reading week. See the syllabus for details, but know that I will not accept creative projects that I haven't approved before reading week. Finally, there's a final exam. This will be based on and extend from the term test, and it will be designed to test your overall knowledge of Old English and Old English translation. It will almost certainly be open book. More information will be available as the semester progresses. And that's it. If you have any questions about these assignments, please let me know. In the meantime, Wes Howell, and see you in class.